Shalom, 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 shalom. As always, first I want to give all the praises and the glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone, our teachers, and our spiritual leaders in this warfare that we are fighting. As always, shalom to the hopeful elect, brothers and sisters of the house of Israel. Today's edification is all about control. CBDC update. It's all about control. As you know, we always speak about CBDC, which we've been telling you, our elders, the apostles have been telling you, is the foundation, is the glue that's gonna put everything together, basically, in preparation for the microchip, which is the mark itself. But the CBDC is the glue that's gonna stick everything together to make the microchip, the mark, on a global scale to be introduced. This is why when we speak about what these elites, these bankers, the financial institutions, the governments, the shadow governments, what they're all been planning behind the scene, what they're all doing to get this up and running, all right? And it's all steam ahead. Now, before I play you this short video here of, this is Glenn Beck. He's gonna give you an update on what your slave masters, what we know they're planning, where they're at, what they're up to, as we already know. For those of you that still don't understand, when we tell you that the microchip is going to be associated with the CBDC, because all money has to go digital before the chip can become a global phenomenon, right? For Esau's New World Order. Now, I'm going to play this short video, and then we're going to go into some scriptures, all right? I'm going to play parts of it. 1 second.
Together. First of all, go back to Maxine Waters and what she said about ESG yesterday. Listen.
It's become a dirty word for corporate America. It's gotten so politicized.
It certainly has gotten politicized, and it's unfortunate because it's inevitable that everyone is going to have to participate in dealing with
the environment. Okay, mandatory. It will be mandatory. You will have to participate in ESG. So everything they said about a conspiracy theory is now clearly off the table. They're saying it. So you will have to deal with a social credit score. Now I want you to listen to what Kamala Harris said at the AI meeting yesterday.
AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's 2 letters.
Oh, my God.
It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then, if we think about what information is going in.
Okay, stop. What she's saying here is that we're going to teach AI about ESG. We're going to talk to the computer and teach the algorithms to look for equity, to look for social justice, to look for environmental wrongs, to look at governance. Now, remember, Maxine Waters just said this is inevitable. Everyone will be forced. You'll have to deal with it. Now they're talking about AI, making that an all-seeing, all-knowing policeman. So now, what is the punishment? Let me bring you to central bank digital currency. This is from page 154 of Dark Future. Now, tie all these things together. Listen carefully. When people think of digital currencies, they usually think of decentralized blockchain currencies like those discussed earlier in this chapter. But a U.S. central bank digital currency would likely be completely different, especially if it's developed under the Biden administration or another leftist White House. Why? Because they're going to teach it. Although developers of CBDCs promise these new currencies will be safe and designed to protect some privacy rights, footnote 373, one of the primary appeals of a CBDC is, from the perspective of governments, is that it would be programmable, meaning it could be designed to act in a certain way based on predetermined criteria. So tie this in. You're going to have an ESG score. It's going to be tied with AI watching you, and now a digital currency that is responsive to AI and those scores.
All of these things is the underbelly of the microchip of the mark. So all of these things are going to be put in place, working side by side. The underbelly, the foundation of the microchip, the ESG, which he just mentioned, right? For those of you who don't know what ESG is, it's your environmental social governance. It's social credit scoring. That's what ESG is in a nutshell. Social credit scoring. The artificial intelligence to manage it all. The central bank digital currency is what you're going to get access to, you're going to have to use, and they're going to decide how you use it. So all of these is the underbelly. It's like the foundation for the microchips. All of these are going to be put in place. All of these building blocks, the ESG, environmental social governance, artificial intelligence, and the central bank digital currency is going to be the foundation for the building. And what's the building? The building is the mark, the microchip. But these are the foundation for it. Now listen to what he says.
A programmable central bank digital currency could be designed so it could only be utilized for certain kinds of purchases, or so that it has limits on the amount of times it can be used to buy certain goods or products. It's even more likely that some CBDCs, including a U.S. digital dollar, would be designed so the rules for its use could change over time. So if the genius...
So understand this. The CBDC is not going to be linked to sin. They're not going to be coming in and linking the CBDC to sin. It's not the mark. Sin is mark. The mark is not sin. The CBDC is going to be linked to the microchip. All right? Your personal identification, your digital wallet, your driving license, passport, criminal history, work history, health history, all going to be on that microchip. So all of this underbelly that they're creating, it's not to do with sin. It's to do with laying the foundation, the building blocks for when the microchip goes global. They're not putting all this in place so that when you walk into a shop, they say, "Oh, sir, did you sin today?" And you say, "Oh, yes, shopkeeper, I did sin today." And he says, "Okay, you can spend your digital currency." It's not going to be like that. The microchip is the link to all of what he's speaking about. Listen up.
Says that the Fed wake up one day and determine that the U.S. digital dollar should no longer be used to buy gasoline-powered cars, ammunition, guns, alcohol, fatty foods, or pretty much anything else they want to ban, federal bureaucrats could, with a push of a few buttons, make their little authoritarian dreams become a reality. Depending on how the law is written governing CBDC, it is possible, and I would argue likely, that additional legislation would not be required to make such changes. In other words, CBDCs are created in Europe and North America, and the Fed and other central banks, not a democratically elected legislature, are likely going to be in charge of how those digital dollars are used. That's how the Federal Reserve and some other central banks act today with very little oversight. A programmable digital CBDC could also easily be tracked, taken away, or have their supply greatly expanded.
Microchip, that's what it, GPS tracking, that's one of the foundations of the microchip. So all of these systems have to be in place for when they, like I said, I believe they're going to create a 9/11 event to push the microchip globally, to say, right, you need to have the chip. The artificial intelligence is going to be in place, the ESG, the environmental, social governance, which is social credit scoring, is going to be in place. And then the CBDC is all going to be in place. Then the 9/11 event, something they're going to create they're going to push you towards that microchip to say, look, now we need that even to tighten up things even more. The microchip is going to be required at some stage. So we're going to see what these elites are going to do to push it. But this is what he is talking about here, is the foundations, is the underbelly for what's to come. Listen up.
And on short notice. Think how effortless it would be for the Fed to provide a shiny new stimulus plan in an era of the digital dollar. Just make a phone call, wrap some keys on a keyboard, and boom, $1 trillion delivered to 100 million people, all within a couple of minutes. With all these possibilities in mind, is it difficult to imagine why a central bank or its allies in national governments would want to develop a CBDC? So, tie this again to...
Tie it again. Shalom, GMS Hawaii. Shalom, beloved brother. Tie this together. Yeah, we're really going home soon. We are truly, really going home soon. Lord willing, we make it. We are humble enough to know that we are the hopeful elect. We don't know if we're going to make it, but if we make it, we are truly going home soon. Shalom, Akiyam, Malak, GMS Hawaii. All praises. Shalom, beloved brother. We're going home soon, boy. Lord willing, we make it. Truly. Yeah. Let's listen up. Listen up to what he says.
Together. You're going to have a social credit score, something they denied. They said that was a conspiracy theory.
Same thing they say about the microchip. They're denying it. Major Israelite camps are denying the microchip. They're saying it's a conspiracy theory. They're saying these guys are off their heads. These guys are bums. The bum camp. What are the bum camp talking about? They're all denying it. Major Israelite camps are denying what this is. All right? They said, oh, these guys are the bum camp. They're the bum camp. What are they talking about? They don't know what they're talking about. Oh, no, we don't know. We don't know what we're talking about. Just like he said, these were all considered conspiracy theories. But now they've all come to light. And we can see it as clear as day. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Rakah Kodash. For I pray the Lord strengthens my faith and keeps me on that narrow road, that straight path. Absolutely, brother. It's June. It ain't no microchip. It's June. And there ain't no microchip. Well, they're going to see. They're going to see. Because, like I said, people can see this, especially those in the know, can see this. What's going on, right? And all of what we are seeing is going on. All of what he is talking about is the underbelly, is the foundation, it's the building blocks towards the actual mark to come into play. I want you to listen carefully to what he's saying. A little bit more. I'm going to bring out some scriptures.
So tie this again together. You're going to have a social credit score, something they denied. They said that was a conspiracy theory. We warned you that it wasn't. Most of your friends...
And this is what we are doing, right? It's like, I'm not joking. It's like he said everything I want to say. We've warned you and we continue to warn you what is going on, what they are planning. I'm going to bring it out. 2 Ezra chapter 9. Measure the time diligently. Measure the time diligently. We warned you, just like what he said. Right? But they take this for granted, what we are saying. We warned you. Measure the time. Grab this precept from this brother here. Tazamak Yasharallah, Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall surely speak and not lie. Do you think we are lying to you, family? Though it tarry, it's a conspiracy theory. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Revelation 20 verse 10. Tazamak Yasharallah. And it says unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. Couldn't say it any better. The time truly is at hand. Let's listen up.
Have a social credit score, something they denied. They said that that was a conspiracy theory. We warned you that it wasn't. Most of your friends have no idea what ESG is.
Most people don't know what ESG is, you know. ESG is a pretty word for the social credit scoring. ESG means environmental, social, governance. That's what it stands for. Environmental, social, governance, and it refers to three key factors when measuring. They say sustainability and ethical impact and investment and money and all of that stuff. Listen, man, basically, ESG is a pretty word for social credit scoring. This is what you must truly understand. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 6, and I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to go to 2nd Ezra. I had that one down to call out, but the brother GMS Hawaii's got it up, so let's just bring it out. It says here, even so, 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. You go back to the first verse. That's where I was going to start anyway, but we're going to bring it out. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently. Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest parts of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. Now we are seeing it as clear as day. All praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We're seeing it as clear as day. Let me just go back to the video.
And is it difficult to imagine why a central bank or its allies in national governments would want to develop a CBDC? So tie this again together. You're going to have a social credit score, something they denied. They said that that was a conspiracy theory. We warned you that it wasn't. Most of your friends have no idea what ESG is. It is vital that they understand that. That's what the entire first book, The Great Reset, was about. Once you understand that that's not a conspiracy theory, that is a way to control corporations first, all the way down to you in the end. And when I say the end, I'm not talking 5 years out. I'm talking the next 18 to 24 months.
You understand, family? Why when I tell you this thing's at the door, 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 this thing's at the door. Believe me when I tell you, they have gone into overdrive. They know that everyone that's in the know, those that truly have woken up, that the Lord has truly tapped their third eye, understand where this thing is all going. You have camps talking about CBDC, but they're still not tying it to the microchip. They refuse to heed and see what's as clear as day. These things are the foundations. This is the underbelly for what's coming, because the end game is the chip. I can't say it enough. It's the chip. That's the end game. They don't want to believe what we're telling you. Listen up.
It will control you. Then, when that is forced on everyone, you have an AI monitoring your every move. If you don't have the right credit score and they introduce CBDC, central bank digital currency, and it is programmable, exactly what Kamala Harris was talking about with AI, putting the information in that the government wants it to have, so it will have certain parameters that these leftists want to have in for your money. It's not your money. If you step out of bounds, if you complain about LGBTQ, they don't need the FBI to invest.
Even Glenn Beck's talking about LGBTQ. Come on, Vocab Malone. Not even Vocab Malone is prepared to touch that territory and speak about the LGBTQ because he knows, he sees what they're doing. He sees clearly what they're doing. Clearly what they're doing, he sees. Revelations 12:12. Tazamak Yasharala. Therefore, rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, the deceiver, is come down unto you, having a great wrath. Why? Because he knows but he's got a short time. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Shalom, Gobar Yahawada. Shalom, I'm glad you put your name up there. Shalom, my brother. That's the spirit, because look at that. The brother put up the exact same scripture, Revelations 12:12. GMS Hawaii, Gabar Yahawada. Therefore, rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, knowing that he has but a short time. You know, he's got a short time, these demons, man. But these, you see, I said this before, and I say it again. I believe Beck's a Jake, mate. This is the man you're looking at on the screen here. This is the man that brought out the information about the Native American Indians on mainstream media when he was on Fox News about the Native American Indians' Hebrew history, writings in Hebrews on their graves, in their artifacts, in their works. This was the man that brought it out on mainstream media when he was an anchor on Fox News. And then within weeks, he was sacked from his job. He brought it out on mainstream media that the Native American Indians spoke Paleo-Hebrew and wrote in Paleo-Hebrew and had all the artifacts in Hebrew in their graves. It was this man here that brought it out on We knew this. The Brothers in the Truth knew this, but I'm talking about on mainstream media and Fox News. This was the guy that brought it out. Within 2 weeks of bringing that information, they fired him. And I've always believed that this man's a Jake in the spirit. Yeah, that's right, brother. Aaron Russo, the end goal of the bankers is to chip everyone and have them in slavery. Absolutely. That is the absolute end goal. Alan Russo, 100%. And he was the guy that made trading places. And he mentioned that conversation that Gabar Yahawada of GMS Hawaii is speaking about is the conversation that Alan Russo had with, I think it was Nicholas Rockefeller, right? Shortly before he died. A little bit more he's going to speak on. One little bit more. Listen up, listen up. Oh, man. Listen up. It's a little bit more.
That the government wants it to have, so it will have certain parameters that these leftists want to have in for your money. It's not your money. If you step out of bounds, if you complain about LGBTQ, they don't need the FBI to investigate you. AI will already know what you've written, who you're talking to, what you said at any kind of meeting or any meeting where your phone is on. And if you think that I am exaggerating, you are sadly misled.
Just like when they speak about us, they think we're exaggerating. When we tell you that the mark of the beast is the microchip, there's all these guys are off their head. The That's the bum camp. The bum camp are exaggerating. What do they know? Oh, no, no, no. Oh, the mark of the beast is sin. No, the mark of the beast is not sin. It will be a sin when you take it. You would have committed a sin when you take it, but the mark is not sin in itself. It is the microchip. And every brother, everybody and his mama and his auntie can see this. This is what they're talking about. Come on. Let me grab this preset. Revelations 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Talking about the United States of America. The 2 horns like a lamb represent the 2 political parties in America, right? The Republicans and the Democrat. And he spoke like a dragon. What we got to do is go to Ezekiel 28. I am like God. He claims that he be this man believes he's a God. America believes that he is a God. Let me tell you. Tazamat Yasharallah, Psalms 102, verse 13. Thou shalt arise and have mercy upon Zion, for the time to favor her, yea, the set time is come. Oh, praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Matthew 13 and 9. Who has ears to hear, let him hear. Who has ears to hear, let him hear. Let's listen up a little bit more in this.
And misguided. It will gather all of the information.
Hold on, sorry.
Who you're talking to, what you said at any kind of meeting or any meeting where your phone is on. And if you think that I am exaggerating, you are sadly misled and misguided.
And that's what IUIC are doing. They're misleading and misguiding their congregation by telling them that the mark is sin. The mark is the microchip. And everything Glenn Beck is talking on here is the foundation, the underbelly for it, to set the stone for that to come. When you take the mark, you will have committed a sin. But the mark in itself, the word karagma means to scratch, to impale. The word karaks means to impale something into you, to etch and to scratch. The word kaistai stigma, 666, the word stigma means for you to prick or to cut something into your skin to show what master or general or household you belong to. And this is where it's going. This is where it is all going. I grab this precept here. Isaiah 36, verse 6. Quanawath, if I pronounced that wrong, brother Salaki. Lo, Isaiah 36, verse 6. Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed, America, on Egypt. Spiritual Egypt is America. Whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, to all that trust in him, because this man is truly getting ready to literally pierce your hand. You better believe what's going on, man.
It will gather all of the information automatically, and it will change your score in real time, and you won't be able to do things that you want to do. We told you yesterday about how transportation, you're not going to be able to fly and go places. You're not even going to be able to drive your car from city to city if you don't have a perfect score. And as I told you yesterday or the day before, the UNESCO, outlined in 2019 that you could have a low ESG score if you're a journalist. Why? Because you're going to be talking to people whose view does not agree with ESG or one of the other things that they're measuring. And if you talk to them for your job as a journalist, your point will go down, your score will go down, and you may not be able to drive your car. You'll have to ride a bus. This is not science fiction. This is true, and it is happening, and I do not want you to take my word for it. You'll notice I said, this is page 156, and I told you that it was what? Footnote 373?
I think so.
This whole thing is footnoted, so everything is clear that you can go and find the original source. And again, listen to what they're saying today. They were lying to you then when they said this is a conspiracy theory, because they are saying today you must, it's inevitable, and you will have to participate. It's inevitable.
It's inevitable. You will, oh, praises. You will have to participate. The system is getting ready. The system is getting ready. You will have to participate. Isaiah 30 verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, says Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. If you take the chip, you will have committed sin. But the chip itself is not sin. It is the microchip. But if you take it, you're going to add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, spiritual Egypt, which is America, and have not asked of my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt, spiritual Egypt, America, your confusion. All praises to Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua Hashem, Rakah Kodash. All praises to Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua Hashem, Rakah Kodash. Yeah, if you go to, the brother says, what I do, I'll drop it in the after I finish this live session, I'll drop it in the description box for you so you can get the direct link to this interview. All right? Because he only did this a few days ago. That's what I do for you. All right? So let's just keep this going. A little bit more, a little bit more. I tell you. They think this is a joke, man. They truly think this thing is a joke, man.
Today, they were lying to you then when they said this is a conspiracy theory, because they are saying today you must, it's inevitable, and you will have to participate. It's inevitable. I thought it was a conspiracy theory. So today's conspiracy theory is tomorrow's absolute fact, and by tomorrow, you could be in a digital jail.
And it's an absolute fact that the mark of the beast is a microchip. A 1 trillion% absolute fact that the mark of the beast, the charagma, is the microchip.
You need to understand what's happening, and you can find it all in the book, Dark Future.
You need to understand what's happening. You need to understand what's happening. And that's what we're here for. We're here to give you that understanding. We are here to give you that understanding. Quanawath, Ezekiel 22, verse 17. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become as dross. All they that are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace, they are even the dross of silver. That's why the Lord had to come. Therefore, thus says the Lord God, because you are all become dross, behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem. And as they gathered silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in my anger and in my fury will I leave you there and melt you. Oh, praise the Almighty Yahushua. But for those that are going to take the chip in Babylon the Great, for those that don't believe, that's exactly what the Lord's going to do. In his fury, he's going to leave you in Babylon, spiritual Egypt, symbolically known as Edom and Idumea. Today, they refer to it as the United States of America. The Lord is going to leave you wicked Israelites there in his fury. And he's going to have, and he will leave you there, and he's going to melt you with those ICBMs, boy. And if the ICBMs don't get you, wicked Israelites, and those of you that are going to take the microchip, the lasers of the chariots of the Lord and the angels will. In the presence of the Lamb and in the presence of the holy angels, when they complete the destruction of Babylon the Great. Well, praises the Yahweh Shimi, Hawashai Bashim Rakakodash. So let me just bring out, I mean, there's many precepts that came out. I'm going to bring out one myself, but just quickly bring this up here. Let's quickly go to it. Psalms 92. I wanted 94. I think it's Psalms 94 I was going to go to. Hold on. Psalms 94. I don't need to say much. Psalms 94. We're going to start here. Verse 15. But judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers, the elites? And who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity, the bankers, the Illuminati, the super elites, the philanthropists, the banking families, the workers of iniquity, the shadow governments? Unless the Lord Yahweh had been my help, my soul had almost dwelt in silence. How is the Lord helping us? Through his prophets, through his word that he's left for his prophets. When I said my foot slippeth, thy mercy, O Yahweh, held me up. In the multitude of my thoughts within me, thy comforts delight my soul. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which framest what? Mischief by law. This is what he was talking about. Glenn Becker's telling you that they are framing mischief by law in preparation for this new world order. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord Yahweh is my defense, and my power is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord Yahweh power shall cut them off. The Lord is getting ready to cut them off, but he's got to allow them to do what's required of them. They've got to fulfill prophecy. They've got to fulfill prophecy. John chapter 3 verse 18. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of the only begotten Son of the Most High. Yahweh is the Most High's name. Yahushai is the name of the Son. We need to know the name. Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decrees an unrighteous decree, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And this is what they're doing, man, in preparation. And this is what I was thinking of. I know the brother brought it up, but I'm just going to quickly bring it out again. 2nd Ezra chapter 9. But this is what we are doing. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And this is what we are doing. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, those are part of the signs, the system that's been implemented, the foundation from the microchip is part of the signs. When thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that this is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people of the world, and all of that's going on. There was a massive earthquake a few days ago. I think it was in Alaska, a 7.8 on the Richter scale. The uproars of the people is a continuous thing around the world. Then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. The Most High knows the end from the beginning. For like as all that is made in this world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. We are seeing the end times manifest in front of our eyes. We are living in those end times. And I believe in my whole spirit and soul and body that all of this is going to take place in our lifetimes. Lord willing, the Lord spare our lives. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby you have believed. So when we tell you that the mark of the beast is the microchip, man, that's whether you truly believe by our works and through your own faith that you can see that. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. Well, praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai Bashim Rakah Kodash. I say no more. I say no more. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And when Apostle Paul was speaking about this, he was speaking about the Romans, and the Romans are who? Edomites. So we know who the man of sin is, because those same Romans are here today calling themselves Caucasians and European, and they have revived, they have, the deadly wound of the beast has healed. They have revived the Roman Empire. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down into hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgments. So we were those angels. We were the sons of Yasharallah. We were the sons of the power. We were those angels in the beginning. We were those angels. The Lord cast us down because we sinned. And spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly. We were those angels. So we are now in chains of darkness, in these human bodies, in these bodies where we get sick and die and corrupt and get old and ill and weary and tired. These are the chains of darkness that we're in right now. Hell is the condition that we are living in. This is Esau's heaven and our hell. We were those angels that sinned in the garden and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes and condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly. This was an ensample for us to remember, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. I'm going to finish it there, family. Good, finish it on. So, like I said, boy, Glenn Beck,
it is incredible.
We were totally in this seeking pure truth. Simple as that. I want to give all the praise and the glory to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahushai B'Hashem Rakah Kadesh. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who are leading this truth in spirit and truth and sincerity. Shalom to my fellow Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters that have been edified by the truth of the scriptures of who we are, who the nations are. As I always say, until we meet again, keep praying, keep safe, repent, and hold on to this truth. Shalom, shalom, shalom.